Peace reflection. Today I was just compelled to do this live today because I've been getting a lot of comments as to why, we are focused so much on sexuality and why do we keep talking about it, and I really wanted to really go deep within that because everyone has one thing in common, and it's that everyone wants to understand themselves. Everyone wants to be healed and have a true understanding of who they are and then be that. But we forget there's so many obstacles in our life. There's so many programmings that we have adapted that it messes with our true perception. It messes with what really is true. So in order to heal from anything, it's two different things that occur. In order to heal from anything or get a true understanding of anything, is one, pay attention to what you're giving your energy to. Don't give your energy to things that do not serve you. But then also there's a time where you're going to have to face that part of yourself. You're going to have to face that obstacle. You're going to have to acknowledge it, right? So when it comes to sexuality, that is one of those things that you have to face. That is not a topic that we have to ignore, especially when it is hindering. It's hindering our growth, especially when we are following a doctrine that is not true, especially when everything in this reality is having sex. Because what is sex? What is the true definition of sex? It's sacred energy exchange. You're constantly exchanging energy. And in order for you to have a true understanding of something, you have to really get to the root of it. You have to learn about it. You have to relate to it. You have to really have compassion for yourself and others when it comes to certain things, because we have gotten so stuck in how we look at things, that with our perception, that we can't truly see things for what it is, and we have been programmed to look at things in a subjective way. We have not been programmed to look at things in an objective way. We are not programmed to use sound discernment with things. We judge things based on how we feel about it, that is not based in true facts. You know what I mean? But even in this time, the more I think about it, the more I'm starting to, like today when I came back, the first word that came to my mind was compassion. And I think that's the one thing that the world lacks, is compassion. We don't take the time to really be empathetic to what another person is going on, because when you show compassion for another, you are showing compassion for yourself. Because the way that I look at it, in every aspect of life that I see, that I have vibrated to, that's a part of myself. So when we talk about homosexuality, when we talk about sexuality, when we talk about any human nature, that the way that we think about it is clearly not in a subjective way. It's I have compassion for that part of myself that does not fully understand or even want to understand. So I'm the component in this reality to bring that understanding, to bring that solution. It does not mean that we have to accept it, but we should, understand it. And that's the one thing that the Honorable Master Teacher Nature Boy emphasizes the most for everyone, that love is understanding. You should understand. You don't have to always accept everything, but if you can understand it, because whatever you are resisting, whatever you are going against that part of yourself. You are creating that blockage within yourself. You know what I mean? And especially when it comes to sexuality, people are their mental blockage is so cloudy about that. And I know it's because of the experiences that we had, but it's also with the lack of knowledge that we received about it. because through generation, ignorance is passed on from generation to generation. People say, well, our ancestors, they were before us. No, we are the ancestors. We're just a replica of that. Energy is just transformed to each generation. It's the same thing. But until you decide to use true knowledge and wisdom and look at things in objectivity, that's when that pattern can be broken. And I know for me, when I think about sexuality, I'm very open about it because I want to understand, and it's a part of human nature. Yes, and homophobic is a part of your lower self, but we have to acknowledge why that homophobia is there. We have to understand why it is there, and we know why it's there because of old programming, and then of cognitive dissonance. It's just like you see the truth, right? I see the truth, but because of my own beliefs and my own behaviors, I'm going to go against it. When you know within you that what you think is not true, but because you don't want to let go of that old conditioning, you're just going to live a lie, and you're just going to just hold on to an old way of thinking, and it's not serving you. But in reality, however you treat another person is how you are treating yourself. You cannot get away with anything in this reality. You cannot get away with it. And that's what they call karma. It's like whatever you do to another, it's going to come back on you. So if you hate another, if you kill another, if you judge another in the way that you're judging them, it's going to come back on you. And that's what we need to bring to the awareness, is that you are right now creating your next life in what you are doing. So have compassionate, have understanding. It's not about making you be a certain way. You know what's normal to you, and you know what's not normal to you, but don't project that normalcy on someone else. Just be like, that's not my preference, but I understand why this is happening. I understand the purpose of this situation. But I know who I am, and I know what I stand for. But I understand what this part of myself stands for as well, because everything that is in this reality, I cannot emphasize this enough, is you dealing with yourself. We are the universe communicating with itself. So the illusion is because we want to be separate so that we can experience, but at the same time, you also have to remember that everything is the same. Everything is you. It's a reflection of you. And the more that me personally, the more that I think about that, the more it's easy for me to understand, because I want to understand myself. I constantly, even when I was in Babylon, I constantly was looking for ways to understand myself. I think that's the reason why I love astrology, because it gives me the ability to understand a way a person is. It helps me understand their emotions. It helps me understand their logic. It helps me understand their actions. It helps me understand their identity. It helps me understand why they do what they do. So I love to take the time to dissect, a person's behavior and bring understanding, because the more understanding I give to that person, the more understanding I'm giving to myself. Like everything that I do, like everything I see and how I treat a person, it's how I want to treat myself. So if I'm hating on someone or judging someone, I'm truly judging myself, and I realize that most people don't love themselves, and love is understanding. We need to make sure we keep that in the forefront of our minds. When you hear love, it correlates to understanding. You know what I mean? And what's the opposite of love is ignorance. So if you choose to hold on to the ignorance of a situation that says everything about you and how you feel about yourself. So if someone is different from you, take the time to understand what makes them different. Take the time because then you're going to learn something about yourself. because everything is here to show you yourself in a certain capacity. And there's going to be some parts of yourself that you're not going to like, but that's where true healing comes from. Is being able to face that part of yourself, but face it with compassion. It's just like a mother and a child. When a mother has a child that's disobedient, when a mother has a child that is, just mad disrespectful, the mother does not do away with the child. The mother goes to the child with compassion. It comes with the child with compassion because the mother knows that's a part of herself. A true mother, anyways. I can't speak for all the moms, but a true mother looks to her child for compassion. You know what I mean? And takes responsibility to a certain point, and then takes the actions that need to be taken. But the mother does not do away with the child. The mother comes to the child with compassion, and that's how I choose to look at everyone that I deal with as children. Because we're all trying to figure this thing called life out. We're all trying to see where we fit in, see how how our energy is manipulated, in this realm. Especially for those that are on the path of divine knowledge of self that Honorable Master Teacher has taught us. It's like we have more of an awareness. And so it's like now that he has given us the ability to know how to walk and know how to talk, it's like now you want to kind of use it and work with it. And it feels weird at first because it's like, whoa, this is different. I never looked at it this way. I never, thought it could be this way. But the more you exercise it, you start to kind of feel yourself and really get a sense of who you are. But it also starts with how you treat other people, and that's how I look at a lot of the topics that deals with racism, homosexuality, religion. I understand the root of it. The root of all of that is ignorance. The root of all of that is the oppressor giving us this programming to keep us from knowing what this reality truly is. That's all it is. Because when you really look back at your life and everything that you're taught, where do we all come from? We all came from Babylon, and they put us in a system, in a school system, and they fed us information just to keep us docile. They fed us what they wanted us to know to stay within the system. So if you think about everything that you have learned, where did you learn it? Everything that you know. And then you go like, well, I learned it from my Babylon parents. Well, where did they get it from? Where did they learn it? Because all it is just misunderstanding and ignorance passed down. That's all it is. But now you have to decide to be that part of yourself that's going to be like, you know what? I stopped this pattern. I stopped this tradition. I know this is wrong. I know there's something more out there. There has to be another. There's a purpose for everything. And we have got so caught up because religion, the ideology of religion, the false doctrine of religion teaches us do not question anything. Religion has taught us, the Christianity or whatever religions are out there, all of those religions has taught us do not question anything. And to just look at things for what we magically, mystically, spiritually. But that's not based on any scientific proof. And the original religion was just the science of nature. But because of all these different versions of religion passed down, it's kind of got, the lines kind of intertwined. And so now you have some truth and then you have some lies. But that's a part of the game. That's a part of the game to keep you second guessing. But the true supreme being, the one, will know exactly, this is exactly what the game is about, and I'm going to do what I need to do to learn it. And I'm not going to allow anything to get in my way. Because I know what this is. you know. And so that's how I look at information. If y'all want to know how Mama Willow looks at shit, I look at everything. Like everything that I think I know, it was a lie. So now I'm going to take the time to truly understand what it is, because in the information age, we have information at our fingertips now to truly understand. And that's just understanding who you are, your biological makeup of who you are. Let's start questioning why you do the things that you do. Like, why do you cut your hair? Why do we wear clothes? Why are we still eating meat? You know, like why? Like, why are we in an environment that is cold? We know we don't like to be cold. Like, why are we still where we are? Why are we feeling like we're trapped? You know, like it's like, why? Like, open your mind, free your mind. And Honorable Master Teacher always says that the way to look at Babylon is a dog that has been tied up to a leash for so long, and then when that dog, you know, they take that leash from the dog doesn't even know that it's not free, because it's been held so long to that leash. And that's how I look at my lower self. That's how I look at Babylon. Like, you know, you do know you're free. You do know that you have the ability to not accept what they're feeding you anymore. You know what I mean? And so just start paying attention. Start questioning everything. Why do I believe in what I believe? Why do I go to church? Why do I, you know, dislike someone that's different from me? Why do I feel the way that I feel about homosexuals? Where is that stemming from? Why am I living the life that I live? Like, why am I just start paying attention to yourself. Get out of that rat race. Get out of that hamster wheel and start paying attention. Start looking at how you are responding to this reality. Start looking at how you're responding to this universe. Start looking at how you're responding to yourself. Start just like pay attention. And I think we're so docile because we're not paying attention. We don't even know what the fuck is going on. When the truth comes to you, you don't even know. You don't even recognize it. You're like, okay, like start paying attention. Start looking at things in a discernment that is based on facts and objectivity. Like, do away with your subjective. Do away with how you feel about it. Do away with what you were taught, and just be like, okay, let me look at this for what it truly is. Let me take myself out of it and just look at it for what it is. Yes, and you'll start seeing that things started to make sense. But like I said, it's not about you being it. It's about you accepting it for what it is and having an understanding of why it is. And then you will see a part of yourself is going to start to develop, because you're going to be pretty smart. You're going to be like, that's not what it is, because people will feed you anything. People will say anything to you because they know we are programmed to believe anything, because we have not been programmed to think for ourselves. They don't encourage you to think for yourself. That's why all the information is out here. But they know that people are not going to take the time to really do anything about it. For whatever reason, with laziness. But I say just not paying attention. I think there's so many things that are distracting us that we aren't paying attention, and we're thinking about the wrong things. We're not paying attention to what's going on. Like I said, I'm the one that's going to come here and I'm going to speak the truth. You can either resonate with it if you want to, but we talk about things need to change, things need to be a better way, but it starts with you. It starts with what you're going to do. It starts with your actions. It starts with how you're deciding to think. Everything starts with you. Stop pointing the finger and thinking that starts with that person. Well, if you want to point the finger at that person, that is still you. But real talk, it starts with you. Like, if I want to change the world, I must change myself. I must change how I look at myself. I must understand who I am. Like, who am I? Why do I do what I do? I want to get down to the root of it. I want to understand why I think the way that I think, because it controls everything. It controls everything. The way that you think, the way your perception controls everything. It's so crucial for you to understand your thought patterns. You know what I mean? Because everything in this reality is thoughts, is frequencies, vibrations, and energies. and your thoughts play a big part in that. Like, you're constantly creating, you're constantly putting that frequency out there, you're constantly, telling the universe, this is what I want, based on your thoughts, and you're not even aware of it. That's a part of yourself that is through your subconscious mind that you're not aware of, that is happening. This happening, regardless if you are thinking about it's happening, but that is where things are transformed back to you. That's the way the things that are coming to you because of that subconscious mind. So you need to constantly start paying attention to your surroundings. You need to start, constantly paying attention to what you're putting in front of you, that you're allowing in your space, because of that, your subconscious mind is taking that in and then putting that back out, and so you got to be very careful. You got to protect your mind, and that's why we put out this frequency. Like, if you look at people that I'm following, I'm only following people on my frequency because I don't want to be fed something that does not have the nutritional value that my being needs. Just because it's food, because food is information, it does not mean I need to digest it. Because whatever I digest, that's what I'm going to become. That is law. Whatever I digest, I'm going to become it. Whether it's people, whether it's food, whether it's the environment, I'm going to become that. So I have to be very selective. I have to control my mind and control my environment so I can control my reality, control what I want. You got to start becoming controlling. Yeah. So let's pay attention today. How you responding? Just look at how you are responding to everything around you. Don't say that. Don't say, just look at how anybody you're interacting with, any situation, any information that comes to you, pay attention to how you respond to it and ask yourself, why am I responding in that way? Like, because your response is the key to life. How you respond is the key to life itself. How are you responding? Are you closing up? Are you defensive about it? Are you open? Is you a clear mind? Like, how am I responding right now? And pay attention to that. And if you want to get, more involved in that, study your Mercury. I can't get off this line without saying that. Get your birth chart and study your Mercury. Study your mind. Study your intellect. Well, your heart, the Venus is your mind, but study your intellect. Study how you perceive information. Study how you communicate. The Mercury is very important in that. If you want to understand your response, study the root of that, and that is your Mercury. You know what I mean? Like, to understand, like, why am I responding this way? Because then you can see that based on the cosmos, this is who you are. This is who you are in the piece of it. Like study that part of yourself. And then you can decide what you want to do about it. Then you can be like, what? I am subjective. Like, damn. Or you can be like, I do have sound discernment because my Mercury is in an excellent place. Yes, objectivity. Absolutely. But you have to truly study yourself. And that's what it comes down to. And I think the people that truly take the time to study themselves are the ones that can truly understand another, because the more that I take the time to study myself and understand myself, I'm able to give that to another person. I'm able to understand them, because I understand that is an aspect of me that I am looking out at, that is projecting back to me. It's just an aspect that's playing out to me, and I know that aspect because I study that aspect. I got involved with that aspect. I took the time to read about that. So when I see it playing out in that person, it's like I know how to respond to it. I know how to respond to myself like now. And that's all, like I said, that's all you're doing. It's just, you are the universe connecting and communicating with itself. So with any communication, you want to have a sound communication. You want to have a clear communication. You want to be able to articulate that communication. with that part of yourself, with another person. It's just that clear. It's that clear to me. Like that's how I look at it. You know. But yes. Tia said, I don't know what your question means. Do I need to a verb? I don't know what that means. But yeah, I just wanted to remind you to have compassion for yourself with where you are and have compassion for another. All right? So just remember that.